You saw Republicans standing up and applauding Trump as he was talking about the reciprocal tariffs that he wants to put in place, the tariffs that he has already put in place on Mexico and Canada. That despite the unease that we have heard from those Republicans on Capitol Hill about the president's plan and about how it's going to impact a lot of them in their home states. I'll note one thing that really stood out to me was the president did not sound like he is going to roll back these tariffs that he just put in place on Canada and Mexico. Despite the suggestions that we've heard from some of his advisors, he sounded incredibly dug in. And I think one of the most striking lines from this was what he said to farmers.
It may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. Our farmers are going to have a field day right now, so to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too.
That's a reference to the tariffs he put in place the last time he was in office, when eventually we had to see the USDA bail out farmers to the tune of $28 billion. That has been a big question that has been looming over this time around.
Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Trending News channel. Hope you will enjoy our video. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Here is the news title. The Republican-heavy audience that tuned in to hear President Donald Trump's speech on Tuesday greeted it with tempered positivity, according to a CNN poll conducted by SSRS. Speech watchers broadly said Trump's policies would take the country in the right direction, with majorities saying the same across 5 issue areas that were the focus of the president's speech. But fewer expressed strong confidence in Trump to help people like them use his presidential power responsibly or provide the nation with real leadership. Roughly 7 in 10 speech watchers said they had at least a somewhat positive reaction to Trump's speech tonight, with a smaller 44% offering a very positive response. That's lower than the 57% of viewers who rated Trump's initial address to Congress very positively 8 years ago, or the 51% who said the same of President Joe Biden's initial address in 2021. It also comes just below the 48% very positive rating Trump saw for his 2018 State of the Union. Good marks from speech watchers are typical for presidential addresses to Congress, which tend to attract generally friendly audiences that disproportionately hail from presidents' own parties. In CNN's speech reaction polls, which have been conducted most years dating back to the Clinton era, audience reactions have always been positive. The pool of people who watched Trump speak on Tuesday was about 14 percentage points more Republican than the general public. Disapproval of disruption. The Trump-friendly audience reacted negatively to a protest effort from a Democratic member of Congress. 8 in 10 Americans who watched the speech said they saw Representative Al Green's interruption of Trump's speech as inappropriate, with just 20% saying the representative from Texas acted appropriately. Green was ejected from the House chamber after continuing to protest following a warning from House Speaker Mike Johnson. President Donald Trump is expected to speak with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this morning. A person familiar with the call said, a day after the 2 North American leaders engaged in an extraordinary back-and-forth over a brewing trade war. President Donald Trump's first address to Congress since returning to power was both a victory lap following a consequential first 43 days in office and an attempt to justify what he's done to an American public that may still be digesting his rapid-pace changes. The president entered the chamber with a lot to say. His speech broke the record for longest annual presidential address to Congress in modern history, at just under 1 hour and 40 minutes. It was also one of the most partisan. A partisan affair. Trump's speeches almost always fall into 2 categories: the raucous rally remarks that can't be contained on a teleprompter, and more staid policy addresses that usually lack the energy of his wilder events. This time, the dramatics began in the audience, when Democratic Representative Al Green interrupted the president repeatedly before House Speaker Mike Johnson ordered the House Sergeant-at-Arms to eject the Texas congressman. He pointed to Democrats when referring to radical left-wing lunatics and cast them as obstructionists. He even used his derogatory Pocahontas nickname for Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Rapid pace of change. The executive actions reshaping the federal government have come fast and furious in Trump's first month and a half. His team is far more experienced this time around, and the president himself is impatient to fulfill his campaign promises. Yet for many Americans, the flurry of changes has been confusing. Polls show skepticism seeping in about Trump's priorities. Tuesday's speech was an opportunity to present a cogent argument. Issue number 1. The hours ahead of Trump's speech were hardly the economic backdrop he may have hoped for. Stock markets tumbled as the broad tariffs he announced on Mexico, Canada, and China reverberated among investors. Almost as soon as markets closed, his Commerce Secretary suggested there may be a pullback on the new duties on Wednesday. Nonetheless, Trump, who has advocated for tariffs since the 1970s, and once called tariff his favorite word, was not backing away from the strategy during his biggest speech of the year. So what do you guys think about this update? Let me know in the comment below. If you like my video, please press like button and subscribe for more. Hope I'll see you in next video.